Hi everyone, this is Nadia, award-winning author, mentor, clairsentient psychic, and founder at Spartanite. And today I want to be covering a really interesting topic that a lot of people have asked me about. I see so much buzz of it on YouTube, and I also see so many, hits on Google, and they're just not getting to the core of the problem. And of course, that issue is breaking free from the narcissistic trauma bond in life, love, and business. Okay, so there's so many people who would just think, piss poor and shitty behavior is normal with people, and it is in today's world where people don't know how to behave properly anymore. And you're not obliged to put up with people's bullshit. Sorry, sometimes my brain wants to work faster than my mouth, and the beings and the spirits I work with each want their turn just to use me as a mouthpiece to say whatever I want to say. Alright, so what is trauma bonding? As I'm not going to go into like the whole 9 yards of spotting the narcissist, I probably will at some point. But this is for those of you who are very aware of what narcissists are. They're just garbage. I don't consider them human. And if they gave us free reign and the liberty to be able to enact the Purge, the movie, I would just take guns and just shoot them between the eyes because that's what they deserve. Moving on, because we can't do that and because I'd go to prison for it, the next best thing I can tell people is how to break away from this abuse, essentially. So what happens is that when you get involved with a narcissist, everything's really good at first because, they've literally stolen somebody else's identity and passed it off as theirs. And about month 2 or month 3, you start to see the cracks. Or maybe they can like carry on the charade and the bullshit for a bit longer, and then you start to realize, oh my god, they're caving on me, they're closing on me. And by the time you get to the point where you realize that you're trauma bonded to this person, it means that you have Stockholm syndrome. You will defend your abuser at any cost, which has happened with a lot of my friends, which has happened with a lot of my clients. And there were people that were so trauma bonded to their abusers that they stopped talking to me because I just literally pointed it out, and they were just like, oh no. There was shame. They knew that they were trauma bonded and they just couldn't speak with me anymore. So what happens in trauma bonding? So trauma bonding are literal cords that run from you and the thing. That's what I like calling them. So henceforth I shall be calling them the thing because that's what they are. So between you and this thing, essentially, you have trauma bonds that run. So when you sleep with one of them, or when you work with one of them, or when you're in close proximity, or you come from a family of things, essentially, the abuse over time creates these cords between you. And when these cords end up hooking into your aura, so you have holes. And these cords also have hooks in your chakras as well, especially if you sleep with one. So breaking trauma bonds is not anything to do with, oh, let's just go no contact and let's just do this. Well, I don't understand why people sit there and say go no contact with a narcissist when they don't really understand that a narcissist is a drug. You have to go into rehab, basically. So for everybody who thinks a narcissist is a person, it's not. It's a thing, and it's also a drug. Narcissists are very similar to having these 12-step recovery programs, which is like shopping addictions, gambling, pornography, alcoholism, smoking. It's the same nonsense. That's what I usually say. So they should put recovery from things / narcissists as well. Just from predators, basically. Recovery from predators, 12-step program. I think I need to introduce one because they obviously don't have one on the market. And what I found that when you cut your cords with a narcissist and you have the trauma bonds actually torn out of you, you will become a completely different person. The beings I work with did this for me 3 years ago with somebody I was trauma bonded to. I nearly died that night. So good experience. Good experience to leave it behind, bad experience to actually have to go through it. My actual heart chakra was torn. My physical beating heart was torn, and I had marks around my left breast because there was actually blood flowing within, going internal bleeding essentially, and that's how bad these things attach themselves. So it kind of reminds me of my cat when I was little. God bless his little heart. He's not in this world anymore. and he used to have ticks all over him, and we used to have to drag the ticks out of him. And then, we had cleaned him up, took him to the vet, and he was healthy and he put on weight. And you know how these ticks suck blood? Well, that's what narcissists do, and that's what I usually see when people are walking on the street, or I know them, or I see them, and I know immediately that a predator has abused them, or a narcissist has abused them, because they've literally sucked the life out of you. Now, removing those trauma bonds are extremely difficult, because those trauma bonds literally bond you to the abuser. It kind of reminds me of, like, say, this is a very typical, I guess, example, but, a man hits his wife, and he's not a man. If you're hitting women, you're not a man. But let's say that for argument's sake. So, the police comes, and the woman's just defending, the man, saying, I fell down the stairs, that kind of stuff. But it kind of goes deeper, because that's at least physical, and she has marks to prove for it. But how about all the men and women and children in the world who are abused? Narcissistic abuse is like being stabbed over and over again, and only you can see your bleeding. Nobody else sees the bleeding. So, when it comes to cutting cords out, cutting cords are very important, and many people in our Spartanite community came and asked me to introduce and create something that would help tear away those trauma bonds. Now, trauma bonds are extremely difficult to break, and there's a lot of psychological bullshit on the market that tells you that you need to do this to let go of the narcissist, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. Well, guess what? You're already playing into their sick mind games that they enjoy. The best way, if number one, is to identify a predator, identify what they're like. I give a blanket term predator instead of narcissist, because as much as people loathe this buzzword of narcissist, I'm covering cluster B personality disorder. I'm covering narcissism. I'm covering psychopathy. I'm covering sociopathy, maybe histrionic, or kind of on that spectrum, so to speak. So what happens when they abuse you for so long is that you lose your identity, you lose your esteem, and you're nothing but a shell. You're vacant. Your eyes are vacant. I have stood next to people who have been abused, and I know that feeling of feeling so vacant, so washed out, and so empty, that all you just want to do is die, because they've stolen every tiny bit of happiness from you. That even the most mundane and tiny things are gone. They financially abuse you, they emotionally abuse you, they sexually abuse you. It's just a thing, as I usually call it. So the first thing that I decided to create was Spartanite cord cutting, which I found with extreme success for myself, and I managed to break the trauma bonding from any person that was abusive in my life, or I had worked with, or I had dated with, or they were clients, or anything like that. I just wanted a clean slate and start all over again. And then the second thing I decided to sit down and create is many of you watching this channel, and if you're not already aware, in our store we sell enchanted bracelets, and I usually wear them. These are not normal bracelets, these are enchanted with my own magic on them. So I usually work with Arabic magic, and I work with planetary energy as well. And with these bracelets, the blue one is the one I'm wearing for the predator shields, and I really found a demand for it, and I really found that people came and said to me that, look, I just can't cope, and I just need, do you have ritualistic work to be able to keep these people away from me? Well, first of all, yes, I do. And if there's someone that's truly just got to the point in their life where they're watching this and they're like, you know what, fuck it, I just can't deal with this person anymore, they won't leave me alone, and I just want them to go, yes, I perform ritualistic work, which will cut them out of your life. This is not something that's mean, that's aggressive. This is self-protection. I always use my own magic for self-protection, which you deserve to, if you're a healthy, normal, sane-minded person, to have it in a way that you live life happy and you're on your own terms, and not a parasite sucking it out of you. So yeah, these ones went out of stock from our manufacturers, so basically I got these ones, and the men watching this, yeah, you have your own version on our store, but this is for the ladies, and yeah, this is the one, and I did it as a predator blocker, essentially. And the predator blocker was, for me, I layered it with Saturnian, because I use a lot of planetary energy, Saturnian energy and Plutonian energy. So anybody who is into astrology, or if you're not, you can just bear with me and I'll explain it. So Saturn, planet Saturn, rules Capricorn and partially the co-ruler of Aquarius. Saturn brings you limitations, Saturn brings you restrictions, Saturn brings you boundaries, good type, right? So think of Saturn return. It gives you structure, it gives you order, and it gives you a sense of direction. Now, Abusers and narcissists and predators and sickos and bugs, I have variant names for them. They absolutely love people without order and direction so that they can come in your life, swoop, grab everything from you, and leave you a wreckable mess and feel good about themselves how they destroy your life. Yes, they know exactly what they're doing. For anybody that's watching this, no, it's not something, they can help it. They switch the abuse on and off at will because they're sick. Okay? So Saturnian energy gives us direction as human beings. It gives us a sense of purpose. It gives us a sense of calling. It keeps us in line. It keeps us strong. Plutonian energy, Pluto, for all of those who have Scorpio, including me, in somewhere in your chart, whether it's in your houses or your sun, moon, rising, whatever you want to call it. Plutonian energy is basically like, wow, let's just go fuck up the whole building, set it on fire, and then we can clean up the rubble and start again with a nice new shiny building that looked much better. So Plutonian energy is very much Phoenix rising from the ashes. So I combined somebody who can help rise themselves out of the ashes and rise into their power, and also have that direction, that strength, that capacity to be able to leave their abuse behind, leave their abusers behind. And when everybody says my abuser, why are you saying my? It doesn't belong to you. You don't want something sick like that to belong to you. The only place an abuser belongs is 6 foot under in the grave where their body can be eaten by maggots. Now, and anybody who hasn't been through narcissistic or psychopathic abuse would think that's harsh. I think that's being too kind for them. Personally, I'd love to shoot them between the eyes, and once they're bleeding, I'd like to set them on fire and then chop their body parts up and throw it in the river. For the pain that I've seen them give me, for the pain that I have seen them give people in this world, you have to be very merciless on the predators and narcissists in order to protect yourself in a world that doesn't give a fuck about you, your opinions, or anything to do with it. So breaking the trauma bond is essentially rising in your power. Predators, narcissists, sickos, they thrive on your shame, they thrive on your silence. They hope that you will never say anything about them because they have destroyed your life so much and taken everything away from you. The best thing you can do is stand up and live your life again, because I can't tell you the levels of disappointment in their voice when they realize that they couldn't crush you, because their goal, a narcissistic goal or a predatory or psychopathic goal, is to completely crush you and destroy you to make themselves feel good. Which is why they keep the trauma bond going for so long. Because if they can keep pulling your strings constantly, it's really easy for them to drain you. Like, if when you don't know your own worth, and maybe you come from a family of dysfunction, you come from a family of neglect, you come from a family of abuse, you come from a family of abandonment, it's really, really easy for them to come into your life because you're already vibrating on the frequency of victimhood. Now, this is not me saying to anybody who's gone through childhood abuse that, oh, well, you're just pretending to be a victim. No, I don't want anyone to think that. But we have to understand that in order to rise into our power, we have to speak our truth and we have to be uncensored about it, because you are always censoring yourself. I know people after abuse who just, wow, they scream, they shout, they rage. I know I did that years ago, because finally your throat area is not blocked anymore. Your throat chakra, the hook is being removed from your throat chakra, and now you just want to express yourself, you want to be yourself. And I want to tell anybody watching this that your life is not over. If you've gone through abuse, if you've gone through trauma, you've gone through neglect, you've gone through being bullied as a child, you've gone through being picked on, your life is not over. You don't have to grow older or get to where you're at and then think, oh, fuck it, I'll show them. You're not going to show anyone. You're going to do it for yourself, and you're going to heal yourself inside so that bugs, predators, sickos, thieves, narcissists don't even think of getting into your life, because they know, and they bullshit you, they shit test you to see how far you'll go with their bullshit. If you squash their bullshit quickly, they know that you have boundaries and you can't push them any further, or they can't push you any further. The more accepting you are generally of, when I hear people like they have a Pollyanna mindset, bless them, positive vibes only, and we only look for the good in people. Well, guess what? There's not a lot of good left in people. I don't say that to be bitter. I don't say that to be jaded. Good people have a certain beautiful radiance about them you can see. They're honorable, they have pure souls, and predators are quick to jump on them when they don't have boundaries. They have big hearts, so they want to give everything away. I'm a clairsentient psychic. I'm also an empath, which means I can feel people's emotions as my own, and it also means I can I can pretty much feel everything in a room, how someone thinks, what they do, but that doesn't mean that I have to give the shirt on my back away, or that doesn't mean I give a lot, but I give within measure and I give within boundary, because when you give all the time, they're always takers and there's no giving from them. Breaking the trauma bond, first of all, is rising into your power, finding your own self-worth, and then actually having those cords snapped. I do that. I perform ritualistic work. I snap those cords. I've done it for myself and it changed my life. No predator could ever get around me again, and if there were ever that were interested in Spartanite work to steal my work, which some have done, and to siphon my energy, they just weren't allowed around me, and things just fell apart. Basically, they weren't kind of come near me. So to remove these trauma bonds, it's not to do with anything psychological. Please don't play their psychological mind games, because it's not going to get any further. And there's so many people I know that are going to watch this and think, my life is completely over, this narcissist ruined my life. Fuck them, they have not ruined your life. Don't ruin your life by giving them any more power. You're not powerless. Stop behaving like a victim. Yes, it hurts, and yes, they completely destroy who you once were. You'll never be that person again, but you will be an elevated, beautiful, handsome, and incredible, shiny new version of yourself. A new version that they can never abuse and can never hurt. And for everybody that is watching this video, it's also tied into business. It's the same thing. You could have a client that's narcissistic, you need to let them go, get rid of them. You have a boss that's narcissistic, just try and move jobs, please, just try. You don't have to go through this abuse. You've got a co-worker that's narcissistic, I can help you deal with all of that. So there was a special gift that I wanted to give every single person watching this, because narcissists mess with your money so much. I wanted to give a complimentary audio that if you comment on the link below, I'm more than happy to send it to you, and then you can have access to our newsletter, our Spartanite newsletter. And it basically helps you see the 4 areas in your business or your career or your financial money life where you can plug in the gaps and call that power back to yourself. Because all Spartanite work is all to do with divine self-empowerment, usually for bold entrepreneurs, but this is a video that's for practically everybody that wants to recover from this. And once you have that money within you, you have that command, you have that possession, you have the power to then stand up and create life for yourself again. And I just want to say, and I want to repeat myself, although I don't usually do that often, your life hasn't ended because somebody abused you. Your life hasn't ended because this person took this away from you or did this. There's always a chance to start again. I started my whole life, and Spartanite is my blessing for all that I endured in my own relatives, in exes, and whatever it is, in friends who were nothing but sick, psychopathic, abusive, bullies, manipulative. And I don't sit there and feel sorry for the old version of me. I say, that little girl who I once was did not know her worth, but today I do. And I want to share that worth with you. Whether you're a gentleman or a lady watching this, you have worth, and please don't give your worth away to anyone. If you have any questions about any of the work I do to perform to remove these parasites out of your life, you are free to email us in the email below that I'm going to be sharing, which is obviously our contact email. It's support@thespartanite.com, and you're also free to message us personally in the inbox as well, or hit us up on Instagram and Twitter. We'll definitely come back to you if it's not myself or one of my team. Thank you so much for watching. This means so much to me because it's a topic that's so close to my heart. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I would love to hear your comments, and yeah, anybody that comments on this gets that complimentary audio. Thank you so much. Take care. I hope you have a good day. Bye.